Welcome to my channel for you who grew up with a narcissistic mother and who've struggled with that, and later on the effects of it on your life, on your relationship to yourself and to others, and who now want to step into healing and connecting really deeply with yourself and potentially also your spiritual self. My name is Åse Wegerif, and I have gone this way myself, and I'm also a registered counselor working one-on-one with people in my practice and online throughout the world. So let's get to this, talking about your relationship to your father. So it's such a big one that it's really hard to there's so much in it, of course. It's really hard to narrow it down, but I'm just going to start with some reflections, and then you're very welcome to add, if you feel comfortable, some of your own in the comments, because that might help you writing it down, and it might also help other people who read it if they, for instance, experience something similar to you. So the thing is, if you have a narcissistic mother, you have a very deeply emotionally injured mother. And often people meet each other on the same level that they're at emotionally and psychologically. So, because if your father was really emotionally switched on and in touch with himself and sensitive and a safe, secure kind of person emotionally in himself, then he probably would not have sometimes it does happen that people do this, but most often people see through it and then they leave at some point or protect themselves. Most of the time we end up with people who are on the same level as ourselves. So it's a very good chance that your father is also very emotionally wounded, a wounded child himself, and actually not able to give what he hasn't had himself. So he might be another narcissist like your mother. You may have had the double one of this, and that is just, the thought of that is just horrendous. Growing up in that kind of emotional environment where people are just using and abusing each other the whole time, it's my heart goes out to you. But let's at least speak it for what it is, and a lot of people have had this experience and struggle with it, so let's tell it for how it is. And or he might have been more codependent, more pleasing to your mother, so that would have been very handy for her. Then she could really use him and abuse him and get him under her control. So it's not like you've got a parent there then who can be there for you. Even if your mother's a narcissist, your father's most likely not there either. He's probably self-protecting, or he's another narcissist playing his games as well. So you're pretty much alone in this situation, and not on top of that, you're a child, you're not understanding what's going on, you're just feeling all this pain and not understanding it. And what do children do? Well, they usually explain these things as if there's something bad about themselves, and in a narcissistic family, if you're the scapegoat role, then everybody else will blame you as well. So it's a real heavy mountain of burdens daily for a child to carry. It really is. And feeling responsible for this all themselves. And sometimes there is, in many people, there is that feeling of that, knowing that this is unfair, it's not right, and so on. But it might be that you still have to live all these days with this happening. So having a father there who's not there for you, who doesn't see you, who doesn't show appreciation for you, show much love for you. Maybe he did sometimes, and if he did sometimes, then you get the sort of thing of having a relationship where you're sometimes loved, but most of the time not really seen and not treated well, and in fact maybe abused as well by him as a bystander or actively taking part in it. And try, with your mother's gaslighting and brainwashing, trying to pull you into this, relating to you from this twisted reality. So it's a really abusive situation, and it's no wonder then that it affects how you're feeling about yourself on all levels, and how unlovable you feel, how you end up repeating relationships later on where you're either completely with a narcissist, or some people go then to the opposite as well and attract a codependent themselves. So it affects your relationships later on. It affects what kind of, if you're a woman, what kind of man you involve yourself with, or if you're a gay man, of course, as well. So there's a big chance that you will carry on this very familiar pattern, even if it causes you tremendous amount of pain. So what I want to say is that this has, as a therapist, I see this the whole time, you know, how the person who they had as a parent, mother and father, has played a very strong role in the expectations you have of the world around you and people around you. Because if you grew up with secure love, with being loved, being seen, then you attract, then that's what you experience, and that's how you look at the world, and you develop that self-confidence and self-worth, and you expect relationships to go like that, and then you have natural ability to set boundaries and say no when you see the signals that someone is not there for you. So you can stay out of these relationships. But if you've been grown up in this scenario, then very often you have blinded yourself to all the abuse going on. So you're blind to seeing the reality when you meet a new partner. So you see the really good sides, and then later on, when you're actually more involved, then you gradually experience the sides that are really difficult. So I'm sure this is familiar knowledge to you, but it is important to reflect on what your experience has been, what your relationship with your father has been like, and the effects that this has had upon you, the way that you are you actually able to see the abusiveness that he also caused you, so that you aren't so blind when you go into relationships, and you can recognize something there before you commit to someone new. So then there's also, of course, the aging parent part, where they're getting older and he's still under your mother's spell, maybe, or maybe he's left ship and he's abandoned you and her, and there are so many different possibilities here. But if he's still with your mother, then he still has to be loyal to her. And saying that, when I say that, we all have choices to make, but it takes, of course, a lot to break out of this. We know that, awaken to it and break out of that. So he may still be under her control and getting older, and that can be a real painful thing to see and experience. And sometimes our own abuse and childhood helplessness comes up when we see what our father now has to go through. That can be one experience for some. And if you break contact or go little contact, no contact with your mother, then that's likely to influence your relationship with him as well. Perhaps he says that you are really upsetting your mother. Perhaps he really strongly sides with her. Or perhaps you have to sneak around having a secret relationship with your dad. There's so many different scenarios here, but I think I'll just leave it with, what's your experience of this? What is your relationship like with your father? And how has this affected you deeply in your approach to relationships and also to yourself? So I hope that this has been helpful, and if you want to hang around me more, then I hope you subscribe. Please also comment and like if you liked it, the video. And if you want to come into my email community, you are very welcome to step closer to me. There's a link that you can click on here in the comment section of this video. So I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.